Hello everyone. I've had a bit of interest since my last video on Filmstro, so I've decided to create another video, and what I'm going to do is show clips of my previous videos where you wouldn't have realised I've been using Filmstro. So I'm going to show you these clips and I'm going to talk through them to explain what I was doing with the music and the video at the time. So let's not mess about, let's get into this. So I used Kronos for the introduction to the Philippine series that I did, which I made just for myself, and I never intended for it to go onto YouTube, but you can hear the bass cut in halfway through, so I was adjusting the power band, or the power element. I haven't brought any books because I always bring books and I don't really read them. And this is Aphrodite, and you can hear at the moment it's quite slow and steady, and I start to pick it up a little bit and make it a little bit more powerful once we get onto the plane and we get moving. We'll see. So you can hear the bass has gone up and the drums and percussion.
We're off, we're getting ready to go, getting ready to go!
So you can hear at the moment the strings are very soft and slow and steady. About to get on the plane. So at this point I just start to increase the depth a little bit to give it a little bit more strings, and then you'll hear the strings pick up in momentum. So I'm using the momentum slider for that, and I've probably increased it to about 40%. So there, we've just taken off. And I've increased the power up to about 70%, making sure there's plenty of momentum, and depth is at about 50%. And then when we land, you'll hear it go down again because there's not a lot happening in the video, so the music, I'm trying to reflect what's happening in the video at the time with the music. So I've dropped all of the momentum.
So here we are, we made it. And so I think we just wait for our luggage to come in.
This is just another example of a track, but I didn't change any. I got the settings how I wanted them, and then I just played it through this piece of the video when we went to Ipswich when I surprised Loretto on a surprise getaway.
Yeah, it's high.
This is a cheery, happy tune, travel, happy holiday type tune. And we're going to have picked up the momentum and the power because we're travelling, so I want to reflect that speed and movement in my music. It's a very happy track, this one. This is when we were staying in Bay City. I used a bit of like the high life type music to show where we were staying. But the ironic thing is I never showed you the room we were in because it was really very, very basic, and it probably wouldn't reflect the music, which is why you see all the nice bits. So for my subscribers, do you remember this video? This takes me back. And this is a nice chilled out track, walking through the woods, perfect for it. So you'll hear I just start to pick up the momentum and the power just a little bit, not too much, probably up to about 60%. I think that music suited that scene perfectly. And this next one's one of my favourite tracks, Zanzibar.
Out of the heat. Only had a shower an hour ago.
At the moment all my sliders are all towards the left hand side, so they're probably all about 5%. And you can hear I'm increasing the depth now. The strings are coming in, piano's picked up, so the momentum's coming up to probably about 40%. And I found this because one of the genres that Filmstro recommended was in the aerial photography bit, because it really helps you out in that way in terms of finding the right music. Now can you hear the bass come in? So I've upped the power a little bit. And that piano diddle 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 diddle. So I'm moving the slider up and down on the momentum just to get those little bits. I don't want it all the time because that'd be overpowering. The thing about using Filmstro effectively is just to be subtle with your settings. Again, all my sliders are at about 20%. We're waiting to go out on our little fishing boat out into the middle of the water.
Outriggers, wooden beams and stuff.
Just before we start to move off, I just increased the momentum a little bit just to pick up the strings and a little bit of a beat in the strings. Again, it's very subtle. Don't worry about my subscription thing, that's from the old video. I don't do that sort of stuff anymore. People can make up their own minds. This is a bit more dramatic this time. So I moved all the sliders more to the right quite quickly because we're travelling in the middle of the water. You've got the island of Seville on one side, the island of Negros there that you can see. It's an adventure. I wanted the music to reflect that.
Here in the Philippines, yeah. And karaoke. We are packed up and ready to go.
You'll have heard this one on my previous video, Darren. I think that's how you pronounce it, because at this point in my holiday I was really sad, and because I made this video for me and I never intended it for YouTube, when I watched it back I wanted to remember my feelings and reflect on my mood at the time. I was almost in tears. I really didn't want to go. I love the Philippines so much. I mean, I was dying to get home to see my boys, but I loved it out there. And then at the end of my Great Philippine Adventure videos, I use this just to do a bit of a summary. And this is a great loop for a piece of music because it can just keep on going and going and going. It doesn't get boring. I didn't want to change the sliders, just keep it going and going. Because there are actually vocals that you can use as part of that if you wanted to, but I wanted to cut that out. So that's it. So there are some of the tracks that are available on Filmstro. There are many, many more. And I may show you some more in a future video where I'll show you how you can use Filmstro as a plugin in either Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro. I've got Final Cut, but I'd imagine the process is the same. I don't want to waste your time anymore. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.